Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today it's going to be sort of like a live explaining of what you probably just heard about a few minutes ago, which was a unreleased cover of a song that I did. The song "Love Comes Tumbling Down," which was written and recorded by Paul McCartney back in 1987. So here's like a little bit of history about how I came. Well, let's do a little bit of history of the song itself. So the song was recorded back in 1987 by Paul McCartney, and it was supposed to be part of the post sessions for Press to Play, and it's supposed to be for an album that was supposed to be called Return to Pepperland. And but sadly, this album was never put out, and instead, Paul decided to work on a greatest hits package called All the Best. But that song did, a lot of those songs did later on end up as B-sides, most notably B-sides for the Flaming Pie album, which Love Comes Tumbling Down does end up as a B-side for Beautiful Night. Um, so I remember getting this actually in 2005, I believe. Um, I don't know how I came about it. I probably was shopping on eBay or something like that, and somebody had this for sale, and I was like, "Oh, I never heard this out before," but I recognized some of the tracks on it, like "I Love This House," "We Got Married," uh, another one which is "Atlantic Ocean." But I never knew all these other songs on here, like Lindianda, Loveliest Thing, Love Comes Tumbling Down, Love Mix. Um, even though I do know Beautiful Night, and I did hear that there was like an early version of Beautiful Night that was recorded in '86 at the power station, um, which has this. It's on this. So I remember picking this up, buying it, like and listening to it. I really loved all the songs, and one of the songs that I found myself learning was "Love Comes Tumbling Down," and so this was like around the time that I was making my first album called Angel. And I was making the second album at the same time. It was called Saturday Morning Around the Pool. And so I just remember during the beginning of 2006, coming here to my room studio, along with Ashwin and Danny, and we decided to cover "Love Comes Tumbling Down." So we recorded right here in my bedroom. Me on bass, Ashwin doing drum programming. Danny was on rhythm guitar, and then so we were just jamming at the song, and we recorded it. And so we were recording onto, I think it was like a 4 track. Um, I think it was like a Zoom 4 track or something like that. And what we did was every time we recorded, we would mix everything onto basically a cassette like this. As a matter of fact, this is the master tape that has our version of Love Comes Tumbling Down, which we mixed onto 4 track. And the thing that we didn't realize was we were forgetting to mix in stereo. So everything that we were mixing here, all the way up until um, 2010, was in mono. So we're getting mono recordings instead of stereo recordings. And I never really touched this cassette all that much until probably in 2008 when I wanted was thinking about overdubbing it because when we were recording the track, we just had guitars, bass, and drums with a little bit of keyboard here. I think keyboard was like on track 4 or something like that. And so I put it onto a disc, sort of like this one, CDR Music Max House. These are great ones, by the way, if you're ever recording onto a CD recorder. Um, and so I did like a mastering onto a disc like this in 2008. But then it was never really touched until 2013 when I was creating an extended play, which was called extended play. And so I decided to take it out, load it onto my friend's Pro Tools, did an overdub of not only a, a synth lead on it, but also getting back Ashwin and Danny into the studio, and we did the vocals on the song. And then again, we took that track and mixed it down onto a disc as well. But this time, we learned from our mistakes, and so I think a lot of the vocals, as well as that lead overdub, was done in stereo. And we did like such a lot of panning with the original backing to try to make it sound as stereo as possible, even though it was never going to be possible a true stereo. Um, so I had that recording in my vaults for like the longest time, and then I thought that I lost the file for like the long for a while until I discovered a program that someone mentioned on me and Mr. Mayo's live stream that we were on, and he mentioned this thing called Moises dot AI. Now I was using another program called Splitter dot AI, which it was good, but it could have been better. But Moises was like 100 times better, and this is how it basically will look when you're load the program into it. So as you can see in this program, it separates everything like vocals, drums, bass, guitars, and even other ambient parts of the song that it cannot totally read, but it's basically ambient background sounds or things. And so I loaded. What I had to do was I had to first I went back to the 2008 mixdown, which basically was close to the master tape, how the master tape sounded. And then I had to load in the 2013 mixdown, which had the vocals and the synth lead on it. And so I had to load that onto like a separate file. And then I took the elements from um, that that overdub and mixed it together with the new with the original track. And then what I did was instead of mixing it on Moises, I went back to a program that I trust a lot called Magic's Music Studio, which you've probably seen this before. I'm not sure, but this is how it looks. Um, it basically gives me a lot of chance to EQ everything individually, and I was able to do that, and was finally able to, with that program and all the stems that Moises AI was giving me, create finally a true stereo mix. I was able to take the guitars, put it into the left channel. I took the lead and put it into the right channel. I was able to really separate the drum sounds so that when it did like this kind of roll, it did roll across the stereo plane. And then I just kept the bass in the middle. I love keeping the bass guitar in the middle of my recordings, even though I did find some satisfaction of putting the bass slightly to the left. Um, but I always like it having it in the middle. And then with the vocals, I was able to take the lead vocal, put that in the middle, and then take the backing vocals, duplicate them so that they're in both parts. So we're getting like a stereo backing vocals. And finally, I was able to create this mix that you all were able to hear um, today. That's basically an explanation. That's basically what we call demixing. What this program, Moises, has been allowing me to do is finally go into my recordings that were previously in mono, allows me to finally dissect them and put them into stereo, which should have always been the case at the beginning, but about around that time, I had no idea how to mix music. Um, and I didn't realize that, oh, you have to pan things to make it stereo. And so now I've since learned from those mistakes. Ever since 2010, everything has been in true stereo. But everything before that was always in mono. But now we're bringing everything, all those things into stereo now. So that's sort of like an explanation of doing this thing. It's a still a rough recording, like, and I'm not happy with the vocals, truthfully. But that was basically me back in 2013. I'm pretty sure that if I re-record those vocals, they'll sound way better now. So thank you so much for tuning in to this live explanation, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. And expect more of these recordings coming up and stuff like that. And I'll be posting more. And also, before I leave, I like to give a shout out to two amazing channels that I feel people should go out and support as well. I like to send a shout out to Patrick, the Vinyl Archivist. He does like a lot of these great streams um, on his channel where he has like great a lot of people like Sir James, Vance, Mark, Robert Fithen, John Bid Bop Boom, and Randy Deadwax, and many others on it. And he plays like really good tunes and with music that you probably never heard before, but you know you're really being introduced to it. And plus, a lot of good conversations as well. You know, they're a great crowd. They have like a lot of great conversations. You know, so check out the Vinyl Archivist. And also, I like to give another shout out to another channel that's great, another great human being. His name is Stephen Schnee. And I like to also encourage you all to support his channel as well. He does like these amazing things every Tuesday night called Ski Lodge, where he plays like a lot of great nostalgic music from like the 60s and early 70s. And he also does these other things like Return of the Living 80s and This Is Pop, and he also does like these other kind of videos called The CD Junkie, where he talks about his vast CD collection of bands that he loves. So I'd like to give a shout out to both Patrick and Stephen Schnee. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend. I feel like it's going to be a great weekend. And so look forward to more content on my channel. With much love from me to you, I love you.